The supremacy of Colossians 1:17 in defending the divinity and uncreated nature of Jesus Christ. 20 unique illustrations that show Colossians 1:17, he is before all things, obliterates the idea of Jesus Christ being created and challenges skeptics and non-believers. 1. The compass illustration. A compass needle points to true north, providing direction. Jesus, as before all things, is like the eternal true north. Challenge skeptics. How can he be created if he was the reference point before all creation? 2. The painter's canvas. Before a painting exists, the painter chooses the canvas. Jesus, before all things, is like the painter who decides the beginning. Ask skeptics. How can he be part of the painting if he created the canvas itself? 3. The source of a shadow. A shadow exists only because of a light source. Jesus, before all things, is like the light that produces all shadows. Ask skeptics, how can the light itself be created if it existed before the shadows? 4. The kernel of a computer system. A computer cannot run without its kernel, the system's core. Jesus is like the eternal kernel, existing before all things as the foundation of creation. Ask skeptics, how can the kernel be part of the system it powers? 5. The captain of the ship. A ship's crew follows the captain, who gives orders before the voyage begins. Jesus, before all things, is like the captain of creation. Challenge skeptics. How can he be created if he commands creation? 6. The beginning of a book. A book starts with its first word. Jesus, as before all things, is like the first eternal word of creation. Ask skeptics, how can he be part of the story if he is its beginning? 7. The root cause of existence. Every effect has a root cause. Jesus, as before all things, is the ultimate root cause of all creation. Challenge skeptics. How can the root cause be an effect, created being? 8. The blueprint of reality. Reality follows a design. Jesus, before all things, is like the eternal blueprint of existence. Ask skeptics, how can the blueprint of all things be created? 9. The spark of life. Life starts with a spark. Jesus, as before all things, is like the eternal spark that initiated life. Ask skeptics, how can the spark itself be created? 10. The origin of language. Languages have alphabets, but the alphabet comes first. Jesus, before all things, is like the eternal alphabet of existence. Ask skeptics, how can he be part of the language if he is the source of it? 11. The thread in a tapestry. A tapestry cannot exist without thread. Jesus, before all things, is like the thread holding all creation together. Challenge skeptics. How can the thread itself be created? 12. The pulse of creation. A heart sends a pulse to the body before it can function. Jesus, before all things, is like the eternal pulse that gives life to creation. Ask skeptics, how can the pulse of creation be created? 13. The engineer of existence. An engineer designs before anything is built. Jesus, before all things, is like the divine engineer. Ask skeptics, how can he be part of what he engineered? 14. The breath of life. Life begins with breath. Jesus, before all things, is like the eternal breath of creation. Ask skeptics, how can the breath of life itself be created? 15. The horizon of time. A horizon exists before the sky meets the earth. Jesus, before all things, is like the eternal horizon, existing before creation's boundaries. Challenge skeptics. How can the horizon itself be created? 16. The master clock. A clockmaker sets the time before clocks exist. Jesus, as before all things, is like the master clockmaker, outside of time. Ask skeptics. How can the master clock be created? 17. The anchor of existence. An anchor stabilizes a ship. Jesus, before all things, is like the eternal anchor that secures creation. Ask skeptics, how can the anchor itself be created? 18. The pulse of time. Time cannot exist without its flow. Jesus, before all things, is like the eternal pulse driving time. Challenge skeptics. How can he be created if he governs time? 19. The weaver of the universe. A weaver crafts fabric before it takes shape. Jesus, as before all things, is the eternal weaver of creation. Ask skeptics, how can he be part of the fabric he wove? 20. The unmoved mover. Philosophy identifies an unmoved mover that sets everything in motion. Jesus, before all things, is the eternal, unmoved mover. Challenge skeptics. If he is the one who started all, how can he be created? Challenge to skeptics and non-believers. For each illustration, skeptics must answer, if Jesus is before all things, who or what could possibly create him? If creation depends on Jesus for its existence, how can he belong to it? These illustrations reinforce that Colossians 1:17 makes it impossible for Jesus to be created, proving his divinity and eternal nature.